Have you ever wondered what really happens when undocumented immigrants, sometimes called illegal aliens, are counted in the U.S. Census? I just finished digging into a powerful congressional testimony, and let me tell you, it could seriously reshape how America counts its population and where political power lands across the country. Before I jump in, if you're into breaking down government decisions and the drama behind political debates, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a deep dive. So, let's set the stage. Picture a congressional hearing, lights glaring, and Mr. Rodriguez, the Assistant Attorney General from Kansas, takes the microphone. He's leading a major lawsuit against the Department of Commerce. His whole argument? The federal government counts illegal aliens in the census, and that, he claims, changes everything. Why does it matter? Well, the census isn't just a head count, it decides how many seats each state gets in Congress. More people equals more power. Rodriguez says that by counting undocumented immigrants, states like California, Texas, and New York end up with more political influence, and that kind of power boost comes straight from states with fewer immigrants. Here's where the legal fireworks start. Rodriguez argues that the Constitution only wants an actual enumeration of inhabitants. Historically, he says, inhabitants meant people with a real permanent stake in the community, not folks who are just passing through or here illegally. Now the courts have said that districts should be drawn based on total population, every person counted. But here's the twist. The Supreme Court has never really defined who gets counted at the top end. Do we have to count undocumented immigrants? Can Congress say no? Nobody's sure. The door's still wide open for debate. Remember the fight over the citizenship question on the 2020 census, or Trump's memo trying to exclude illegal aliens from how congressional seats are handed out. The courts didn't settle it, they just kicked the can down the road. And now thanks to Rodriguez and his lawsuit, this whole debate is back in the spotlight. So what happens next? Rodriguez points out that Congress actually has a huge amount of power over the census. Until lawmakers or the courts set clear rules, this battle is going to keep shaping politics, lawsuits, and who gets representation for years to come. Big picture, this isn't just a numbers game. It's about who gets a voice in Congress, who gets federal funding, and what kind of country we want to be. If you found this breakdown helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, share this with someone who's curious about political power, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
I'll now recognize Mr. Rodriguez for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Roy, Ranking Member Scanlon, and members of the committee. I'm an Assistant Attorney General in the Special Litigation and Constitutional Issues Division of the Kansas Attorney General's Office. And in that role, I'm leading a multi-state federal lawsuit against the Department of Commerce challenging its practice of counting illegal aliens in the census.
Mr. Rodriguez, can you move a little closer to your microphone or ensure that it's on?
Sorry, is that better?
That's better,
Okay.
yes.
When illegal aliens are counted, it inflates the count for a few states with high numbers of illegal aliens and gives those states more political power and representation at the expense of states with smaller numbers of illegal aliens. That violates the Constitution, which requires an actual enumeration of inhabitants to be used for apportioning House seats, and it violates the principle of equal representation by making votes in some states count less than votes in others. The census comes out of Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution. It requires Congress to conduct an actual enumeration to be used in the apportionment of representatives and electoral college votes according to the respective numbers in each state. In the founding era, numbers referred to inhabitants, which meant someone with a fixed and permanent connection to the place and some legitimate tie to the political community. Under that definition, illegal aliens are not inhabitants. They're present in the U.S. illegally, subject to removal, and their residence is therefore temporary and contingent. They're not bona fide members of the state, so they should not be included in any enumeration for purposes of apportionment. Historically, Congress has delegated its constitutional authority over the census to the Secretary of Commerce under the Census Act, and the census is conducted according to the rules promulgated by the Secretary. Every census and apportionment, including the most recent one in 2020, has counted illegal aliens at their usual residence, although it's only in the last few decades that the scale of illegal immigration has significantly affected apportionment. In the Supreme Court, there are two broad categories of cases that are relevant to these issues. The first concerns equal representation, or the principle of one person, one vote. Starting in the 1960s, the Supreme Court found that debasement of votes or vote dilution is a justiciable injury. And when state voting districts are unequal in population, it means that votes in less populous districts count more than votes in more populous districts, which violates the Equal Protection Clause and the Apportionment Clause. And the court has held that districts must be equal in terms of total population, not in terms of the number of eligible voters. But in these cases, the court set the lower boundary of who should be counted. It hasn't set the upper boundary. Even though total population we know is more than just eligible voters, we don't know that it must include illegal aliens. The second category of relevant cases concerns the conduct of the census. For example, in Department of Commerce versus New York, the court held that asking a question about citizenship was permitted by the enumeration clause, given Congress's, quote, unlimited discretion to conduct the census. But including the question violated the Administrative Procedure Act. Without an APA violation, a citizenship question could likely be included in the next census if it was produced by a reasoned decision-making process. And in Trump versus New York in 2020, the court heard a challenge to a Trump administration memo which planned to exclude illegal aliens from the already completed census to the extent feasible. The court dismissed the case for lack of standing since there was no certainty that anyone would actually be removed from the census pursuant to the memo, but it did not rule on the legality of excluding illegal aliens from an actual enumeration. So the census cases show that Congress has broad authority over what information is collected in the census and that counting illegal aliens remains an open question. The court has not said whether the Constitution requires counting illegal aliens or prohibits it, or whether Congress has discretion to decide one way or the other. So the future of the census will be decided in the courts and in Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. I'll now turn to Mr. Miller. You have 5 minutes.